Yeah,
So yeah, Amit, let me know if you want me to go to the next slide and probably can introduce.
sure. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, let's go to the first slide. Yeah. And the next one, second one. Yeah. So thank you everybody for joining this, right? I understand it's Sunday, but thank you so much for taking 1 hour from your schedule and joining us. So this is our fourth virtual Indianapolis meetup event. We had the last event on the data wave, right, last month. So this is the fourth event. So I introduce myself. I am Amit Srivastava. I work in a Cognizant as a technology architect. I'm a MuleSoft certified developer and an aspiring MuleSoft architect. Uh, I have a total 13 years experience in industry and close to 3 years in MuleSoft. So I have privilege to join with me Ikram. He's my colleague in Indianapolis Meetup Group. And Ikram, over to you for your introduction.
Okay, thank you, Amit. Hi, everyone. This is Ikram, and I'm an integration consultant with one of the insurance, which is One America, and I have almost 15 plus years of IT experience. And right now, I'm working on MuleSoft 4, and I'm Mule certified developer and a Mule certified platform architect, and I'm still trying to pursue my integration architect certification. It's been a while. It takes for me a little while for the preparations I'm going at, and that's about me. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ikram. So, yeah, Somjit, we can go to the next slide. It's about, yeah. So, for this topic, right, for the endpoint monitoring and the analytics users, so we have the speaker, Somjit Das. He is he has done like all the MuleSoft certification that we know. He's 6x MuleSoft certified. He has worked in the big four companies, and now in his current assignment, he is currently working for one of the healthcare customer in the integration architect role. So he will be our the speaker, privileged speaker today for the topic. Somajit, over to you for any brief introduction you would like to add.
Thank you, Amit. I think you did the justice there. Hi, guys. I would like to introduce myself as just another Muley, and I love to work with people, discuss and learn more. That's about me. You can connect with me in the LinkedIn if you are interested, and keep muling. Thank you. Let me go to the next slide. Anypoint monitoring. So, Amit, let me get started, right? Or do you have any?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, over to you. Yeah.
Perfect. So,
And I'll
thanks.
keep eye on the chat. Or if you have any Q&A, please put it on the Q&A chat. And I'll keep eye on the chat, Somajit, and you can go ahead with the content.
Sure. So, Amit, feel free to stop me wherever there's questions, and we can
Sure.
probably
Yeah.
address them, or maybe
Sure.
after the end of the section, however we want to play it. Okay.
Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, anypoint monitoring. So MuleSoft has come up with a product called Anypoint Monitoring, and this provides us with a wide range of options to monitor our infrastructure, our Mule runtimes, whether it is on-prem, cloud, or runtime fabric. Uh, and it does that using a monitoring agent, which is installed as part of your runtime. If we are on Cloud Hub, the process is pretty simple. You just have to enable a property, and then the monitoring would work. Just as a statement here, it consumes a very minimal amount of processing from your system. So you would most probably not see impact, but that's something that you should be aware of. Okay. And so coming back to the features, monitoring on a high level, it provides us with uh, features in three broad areas. It provides us built-in dashboards with a lot of matrices that is part of out-of-the-box functionality. It provides us with ability to build custom dashboards which we can view. We can create our own views of multiple APIs in a single plane, or it is up to our imagination of how do we want to capture the metrics and how we want to view that in one single plane. Then it provides us with a log management capability, which is basically to manage logs across our application network. Uh, the third one is custom metrics. This is an interesting feature wherein we can choose to pass any custom event from our application, and then visualize that. We'll see more of that when we proceed. So a lot of these features, again, we would get depending on what subscription model we have. Most of the features are available in their top tier subscription model, which is Titanium. And if you have a gold or platinum subscription, probably a lot of these features you won't be able to see when you log in into your runtimes. So for today's demo, unfortunately, we do not have a, a titanium subscription. Subscription. So what we have done is we have taken the presentation from our run environments, our company environment, and we have
one Q&A coming from the user. So he is not able to access the monitoring tab. So I requested him to go to the access management and get the access, because somehow he is not able to access this tab. So anything you would like to add? So he needs an access, right? He needs to go to access management. His IDs would be added there.
Right. So if you want to get access,
Abdul Jabbar has a question.
Perfect. So I'll probably show you which specific access. It's in the access management. There is something called Anypoint Monitoring access. You have to have that access, and then you can you would be able to see what's happening. So probably when we see the demo, I'll probably go ahead and show you the access.
Sure. Somajit. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Sorry for the interruption. Please go ahead.
No problem. Okay. So let's go. I lost my thought there, but I think let me catch up there.
Monitoring tab,
So monitoring tab, basically monitoring would provide us with a lot of built-in features that we can use to holistically monitor our runtime. So it would provide us with built-in dashboards, custom dashboard, reporting feature, alert, custom matrices, functional monitoring. Then it provides us with log search. There are a few capability of log search, and then there are a few configuration items that could be implemented. So we'll look into that in detail in the next slide. But I think the point I was trying to make is what we have done is we have taken we have taken we don't have access to all the features today as part of our demo, because we are using a trial account, and as we didn't have permission or the policy doesn't allow us to use our company instance to show demo. So what we have done is wherever we do not have the feature available, we have taken a screenshot and we have tried creating a slide which we will walk you through and I'll show you the difference, right? So that's probably the way we will go. Going back to the next overview. So just for an overview, out of this monitoring provides us with features for built-in dashboards. It captures 80 plus matrices related to our application performance and infrastructure. This is all out of box. We don't have to do anything to get this. We just have to have the right subscription label to get all of this access. Next is custom dashboards. This is a single plane view where we can build our dashboard. You can choose to build a holistic view of a particular business unit, or let's say you're building a API-led approach and you have a system process experience or whatever combination of APIs, and you want to see how is the API performing for that particular API stack. So you can choose to build dashboards where you can combine data from multiple different APIs into one dashboard and then show a view. Then next is reporting. This is more of a overall reporting of and behavior of all your APIs within an environment, which gives you a holistic view of how all the apps performing at a very high level at the environment level. Next is alerts. We'll probably look into a few of them. These are the alerts that Anypoint platform you can set up, which are standard set of alerts which could monitor your runtimes, and then send alerts if there is any event that you think is critical for your business, or any informational alert or things like that. The next topic would be functional monitoring. Functional monitoring it provides us with a framework to do a quality and reliability check of our APIs. We can use this feature to monitor MuleSoft runtime APIs as well as any public APIs. So think of more sort of health check feature, wherein you can use this feature to do your health checks on your APIs. Then few of the topics that we'll probably discuss is storage limit. So this is again logging. So logging and logging feature. So this feature would give you a more elaborate capability to log, more storage to log logs. For example, in your
one question.
runtime. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one question from Supriya. So, I mean, can this log be used, the AnyPoint monitoring log can be used as a transactional level of monitoring, like what we can do in Splunk, right? Can we track at each transaction level? Is that what Supriya is asking? Supriya Pawar in the chat. Can the out-of-box log be used like a Splunk? I think yes.
Yes, I think somewhat you can do. What it provides you with is a search capability where you can search. First thing is you have to log, right? From your runtime, you have to log every log. Once you log it, then they provide you a search, advanced search capability, and they will provide you with a capability to aggregate log from multiple APIs. What they don't provide you, probably if I compare that with Splunk, and that's up to that is from what experience I have been with my experience is, they cannot provide you with all those dashboards that you use on Splunk, right? The advanced dashboards. It would be probably a combination of log plus your built-in and custom dashboards. You can probably achieve that functionality that you're getting out of Splunk. But only with log management, you probably won't be able to get all the features that you get out of Splunk. So that's probably the way I would like to put it. So we'll probably look into that more, when we get into that. Okay, perfect. So, and then last point that we'll probably look into is LogPoint codeless logging, which is a very good feature wherein you want to at the runtime without restarting your apps, if you want to apply debug features and all, and apply and log additional logs. So that's probably it. So let's go to dashboards, built-in dashboards. So let me log into our AnyPoint platform and try to show you what do we get from. This is the trial account, which probably I would assume is similar. It would give us access similar to a gold subscription, which is our base subscription model. So let's say we are not using monitoring as a product, right? So we are still using the standard graphs that is available as part of AnyPoint's platform. So we pretty much get these basic features, which is basically number of requests, CPU, and memory utilization. So that's it, right? We don't get any advanced features. So if we go into monitoring, right, just by enabling monitoring, we can get a lot of advanced features as part of monitoring. So let's go do an overview. A lot of these are self-explanatory, and then if you look into these features, you'll probably know what is what. Just an overview. It gives us for overview tab, which is basically overview of most of the tabs that we have at a. So which it would give you number of requests, response, how many messages we are getting, what is the average that we are doing on for this API, and then outbound, how are the outbound calls happening, how many successes are there, how many failures are there, so it would give you aggregated view of all your logs. So and then also your JVM infrastructure monitoring, how are you doing in terms of memory allocation, heat, heap and thread and all that stuff. So this is what you get out as part of your monitoring, right? Which is a lot of more feature than compared to what we had earlier. So the next is, I mean, this is the inbound tab where you get statistics about matrices about your inbound APIs, like how is your API endpoints doing? So how are we doing in terms of how many requests we are getting, average response time, again the same features. And then this is a very good cool tab wherein you can see what are my endpoints and what that has been called within last 15 minutes, right? And then it will give you all the average response, mean and max. So this is a very crucial tab where you can really go in and pinpoint which exact API or which exact endpoint, if you are having issue, then which is causing. This is where could be your starting point where you can see that this particular API is not performing. This has taken let's say 2 minutes, right, 2 seconds. So which is very high for our endpoint, and we probably can start looking into issues from here. So this is more of aggregated view. And then next is, or it gives us a tabular view of number of requests that we have received per endpoint within our application, right? And then it gives us a also gives us a percentile view of graphs. So this is very useful when we are doing a performance testing and we want to figure out what kind of performance we are having, right? Like for example, 99 percentile is basically 99% of the request how they have performed on this on your test. So which is basically it gives you out of the box 99, 90, 75 and 50%. So you can see how much of how many requests, I mean, how much percentile of uh, your request have performed in what way, right? Similarly, you get the same error, how many error has happened, and all of that. And also it tells you the slowest endpoints by time. So that is again a very good feature to pinpoint and figure out where the issue is happening, right? So let's go to the next tab. So this is an outbound tab wherein it gives you details about any any endpoint that you are calling within your app. So let's say, for example, you have an app and you're connecting to a Salesforce or some other application and you're trying to get in data from there, right? So how are those apps performing? Or you're calling a HTTP endpoint, a third-party endpoint, to get data and aggregate the data and then send it back, right? So pattern. So you can see all that endpoints, how are they behaving up to average, and then you can see average view, and then you can see each endpoint how they're performing, right? Which is very crucial. So from here you can really see which endpoint, a third-party endpoint, is impacting your application. So probably the way to start would be, at least the way I try to do it, is I go to inbound and first try to see what endpoint is slowing down, and then probably I would go into outbound and try to track down a little further to see if is it impacting because of infrastructure issue on or code allocation issue on our side, or is it impacting because of some you're calling some other application and then that endpoint is slowing down, right? So that this is very crucial insight that you get out of the box without even writing a single line of code. So imagine earlier we would have to log everything, and then you have to go into logs and figure out what's happening, or you have to push this into Splunk and then figure out what's happening, writing dashboards on Splunk. You can probably get a lot of those here without even writing any logs or creating any logs within your application. So this feature, right? And then similarly, it gives you a number of endpoints, all of that feature, and then similar percentile, how are you performing in terms of requests. So these are good features. And then performance, again, this is similar feature where it gives you the number of requests of inbound and outbound. It's and what are the inbound HTTP endpoints, and then what is the percentile. It's more of a combined view of these two, I would say, right? So that's how I would put it in. And then next tab is a failure tab, which is actually very crucial, which would help you out in understanding where actually which endpoint is failing, what are the failures. So this will give you insight about all the failures, right? So simply these are again the aggregated tabs, which will tell you the average count, and then the number of failures, and all of that, request time, and overall the total request by response time for the good request and for the failure ones. And then it gives you a view of failed, right? These are all failed requests, and what is the average request response time and max time for the failures. So for all the failures requests, and then it can also give you for a particular endpoint how many failures have happened. So let's say you want to see for this endpoint slash dev slash active runtime versions, there are 145 failures within last 15 minutes. You would think there is something going wrong in this API. So next step probably for you would be to select logs. So from actually it doesn't, at this subscription level, it doesn't give us access to logs from here. However, if you are in Titanium, I guess in Platinum, Titanium, the high subscription level Titanium, you will have access to logs from here. You click on logs, it will open up a window, and it will specifically show you logs for that particular duration, and then you can pinpoint and see what's happening with this particular API, and why there's so many failures up to the code application log level. So, and then if you see here for this particular window, there has no failures that has happened on the outbound. So all my APIs that I am calling from outbound is successful, right? So this is pretty crucial tab, and then you can easily go over your selection criteria for if you want to see for last 24 hours or a particular time window for a particular duration. So all those features are easily available over here. So again, a lot of this feature would be part of your subscription. So let's say you're in Titanium subscriptions, so then they would keep logs for of logs, and it will keep your all the matrices for more than 90 days. If you are on lower subscription model, probably all of these matrices will be available for 30 days. So that's something that you have to figure out, what's happening. So if I take like last 24 hours, I can see there are some failures on the outbound, right? So this is how you can see. Okay, so account slash login, that's the endpoint that has taken a lot of time, and it has failed. It has failed, right? It has failed like 8 times. So this is pretty crucial. I'll tell you an example of how we have used it to diagnosis one of our use cases in our live environment. So what's happening was there was an endpoint that we were trying to call, and we were getting timeouts, right? And we were getting a lot of timeouts error. But before enabling monitoring, we were not able to figure out what's happening. We were not able to get a aggregated view of how many, what is the total request time, response time. These matrices were not available. When we enabled monitoring, we were able to figure out that average request response for a particular endpoint is taking around 45 seconds. Our timeout is set as 30 seconds. So we were able to pinpoint and figure out that this endpoint is actually taking a lot of more time, but we are failing because we have set a timeout which is less than the average. And then we did a performance testing, and we, for stopgap measure, we increased the timeout to 1 minute, and a lot of requests were successful doing that. So it became really handy for us to use these features in real-time applications to diagnostics logs, and it gives you a lot of tools to quickly identify how your application running, and where are the issue in your application network. So this is the failure tab, which probably would give you a lot of insights. And then next is JVM tab. Yeah, Amit, do you have any questions?
Yes, yeah, so we have couple of maybe couple of on the functional monitoring you want to cover now, or at the time of the covering.
I think that we'll
monitoring?
cover when we go into that part.
Okay. And we have one for logs also. So when in the out of box anypoint monitoring the log that we have, does it have any option to encrypt the data? Do we do any setup for that? For Supriya has that question. Any option for encryption?
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that when we go into. We'll discuss that. That's not part of our presentation, but we'll briefly discuss what are the options available.
Okay.
When we that.
And function monitoring also we have. No, for this we don't have anything question yet.
Perfect. So we'll probably tackle that when we go into that module, right? I think that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So JVM, again, JVM, I think these are again out of those features where you have how is your garbage collection happening, and then how is your class getting loaded and all of that. So this would be a lot beneficial, if you want to see whether there is a connection leak happening, there's a memory leak happening. If your memory leak is happening, then probably your graph, your GC would not be gradual sporadic increase and then down, and then it will go up. It will be like stairs rather than being a straight line. So there are a lot of techniques that you can apply on these graphs to figure out if you have any performance impact, if there is any memory impact on your application. And it also gives you what is the heap size and how much heap is connected. So this is very handy when you are doing a performance testing on maybe on your release testing or UAT environments, and you are trying to figure out what's the right code. You're trying to size your course. So this tab probably would be a very useful for that features. It also gives you number of threads that right now you're supporting and what is the spike. And then the JVM uptime. So if you see, right, our JVM was down at 1600 hours and then it is up. So you can figure out when was your application last restarted or it got restarted. So if it is automatically restarted for a memory or any issue, that also would be captured here. So that's something that you can easily figure out. And then there are a couple of memory specific tabs that probably would leave to people to explore. I have not explored all of them, but I believe these are all a part of your JVM utilization, heap utilization. And the last tab that we have as part of our infrastructure monitoring is again its infrastructure is JVM CPU usage and heap memory usage, which is basically useful to figure out how is your usage doing. And then if you have, so let's say, auto scaling feature available, subscription available on as part of your subscription, you can use this to configure auto scaling policy, so that if you let's say if your CPU utilization goes beyond 80%, you want to add more cores. If you add more workers or cores, or similarly for heap users. So this would be very critical if you want to either implement auto scaling, or let's say you want to manually scale up, seeing if your utilization is constantly high and you're seeing sporadic restarts, you probably would have to allocate more code to in the short term to figure out what's happening, and then probably long term see if there is any improvement that you could do on your application. So those are this will be quite handy when you get into that. So I'll leave it here. So these are all the features that are available as part of base subscription, which is Gold, I believe. Let's see what do we have, what do we are not getting as part of lower subscription, which we will get when we go into the highest level of subscription, Titanium, right? So going back to our presentation, let me maximize the screens. We looked into all of these. This is the overview, inbound page, and outbound. And the next feature that is very critical, what we were not able to figure out, look into when we were in the Gold or lower subscription models, is flow. So it really gives you insight of what's happening for a particular flow within an application. So this is very crucial, when you're trying to figure out what's happening. I would imagine if you don't have this feature, we probably log start and end time for each flow, and then we have to figure out, go into logs or put into Splunk and then write analytics on top of it to figure out which flow is slowing you down, right? So all of that feature is out of the box available without writing a single line of code. Only I would think a recommendation would be to make sure that you're writing your code modular so that you can figure out which flow is slowing down. Don't add a lot of functionality into a flow or a subflow. Try to keep it more broken down into smaller flow and keep it usable and modular, so you can easily pinpoint what's happening, which flow is slowing down. And this is very critical, and we use this tab a lot in our triaging calls to figure out if what's happening and which exact location within our code, which exact flow subflow within our code is impacting, right? So that's pretty useful. The next tab is connectors. So this is again another tab which is not part of the basic subscription. This will give you details about how we are performing in terms of connectors. Like there are a lot of standard connectors that supports are available, like HTTP database, FTP, MQ connectors, and Salesforce. There are a few. So these are a couple of FTP email. There are a few standard connectors that those are available out of the box, where it will capture your volume, request and response time, failures, and all of those features. And then let's say you are using any other connector. For example, you're connecting to S3 Amazon, and you're trying to load data into S3 or get data out of S3, or any other connector which is not part of this standard connector. So those all would be captured as part of other connector requests. So other connector, you can go in there and it will give you a view of how your connectors, what's happening to the other connector. So everything else which is not part of your standard connectors, you would be captured here. And detail about what connectors are supported and not is already all of this information is available on the document on Mule Docs. You can easily and take a look. But I think this also is a very good feature when you want to figure out how are you doing in terms of database calls, how is your database performing. This again has been a lot of a very crucial tab when we use for triaging, where we are able to pinpoint at particular point of time the queries have taken a lot of time, because of which the API request and response has slowed down, and then it has caused some other issues, right? So this is again a very crucial feature that we use. I would consider that. And then next tab is performance. I think which we already discussed. Failure we have already discussed, and JVM infrastructure, I think we have already discussed and gone through in length. Next tab is application network. So this is again a premium feature where what it does give you is, without doing anything, it would give you a detail about your application network, right? Like for example, this is an API which is called by an application, Trilio application. It is and then this API pushes data into S3 DynamoDB and calls bunch of different APIs calls. So it will build you an application network, and then you can capture a lot of matrices and analyze a lot of your traffic by selecting any of these matrices, and then you can figure out which API is doing what traffic, what endpoint is what it is happening within your API application. So this is again a very good logical view of your application. You could also use AnyPoint Visualizer, which would give you a lot of more features, but that's the feature when you have to go and build your visualizers application, your view. This is something which is similar to that, but it is something that is out of the box available when you configure your dashboards. You don't have to do anything. So this is all about or built-in dashboards that we looked into. Any questions, Amit, on this?
So nothing on the dashboard. I will wait. Okay, so I got a question from Sesu Babu Muthu saying that in my application I have 10 flows involved. One of the flow failed because of some issue. With that flow, the flow tab right under the built-in dashboard, will that show any details regarding that specific flow which failed? Out of the 10 flow, one flow got failed. Will this this built-in out-of-box flow tab will help me to troubleshoot that? So that's question.
Yeah. So what it will give you, if you see here, right, it will give you a failure by flow. So what you can see is with this graph, you can easily see that a particular flow for a particular time duration, this flow has failed. So that could be probably your start point. And then once you select this, you will have, if you're right subscription label, you will have an option to click on that and click on the log, and then it will take you to the log management, and there it would, you probably would be able to see in the logs what happened to that particular request. So what this gives you is more of an aggregated view of what happened for a particular time range, and then you can go into the logs to see what happened for this particular request, right? So that's how I would go about it. I hope that answers the question.
And you need a Titanium subscription for that, right? This will not come.
Yeah, the right subscription level for this flow, which is Titanium. Yes. Okay. So I think we're going to
dashboard. I don't have any. Dashboard. I don't have any question.
So please remind me, Amit, when we go into the custom dash or into the right topics about the questions that we can probably get.
Sure. Yeah.
Perfect. So next topic is custom dashboards. So this is a feature where a lot of these matrices that are captured, we can create our own view, right? So when I say our own view is, we can choose to create, let's say we are implementing an API-led approach, and we have a use case which is supported by 5 different APIs, and we want to see a holistic view of 5 different APIs, 5 different apps within one control plane to see what's happening right with all of the application. So that something, so you could choose to do that in this application. It gives you with few tools, some of the tools that you can use to create different views of the data as you choose, right? I will put it that way. Like for example, let's say it gives you with different types of graphs. It gives you a bar graph view, line graph view, slingshot view, and then table view. So these are the graph views that it provides us to see what's how to visualize our data in a more custom way. So let's go into any point custom view, and then let's try to I'll try to show you something that we have created for this demo. So here what we have done is we have created a view. We have created a custom dashboard for our API, which is monitoring average response time by endpoint, right? So earlier what we saw in the previous graph, we were able to see how we are performing for overall API. But when it comes to endpoint, we were not able to see a graph. It was more of a table view, right? But here you can select and you can create your own view. So what it is showing us is for last 24 hours, what are all endpoints that was invoked for this particular API, and how have we done in terms of average response time for all of these endpoints, right? So if you see here, you can figure out that a particular endpoint usage metrics endpoint, we have got a lot of requests in the beginning, and then lately we have started receiving a request from different endpoints. And you say, let's say you want to pinpoint and try to go and see what's happening within one window. So you can simply zoom in, it will zoom you in, and it will start showing you data for that particular window. So it gives you a zoom in and zoom out option as well. So when you zoom in, it will give you for this particular window, what is the how is the API performing for this particular matrix. And same information you can also see in a different view, which is bar graph view. This is the line view. This is a bar graph view. You have an option to one chat as well. The other view that it provides is the slingshot view, which is basically a view of how is your API performing, average of your all the endpoints performing at this point for this particular window. Let's say we are saying that 1000 millisecond is our limit. That is something that beyond that we cannot accept any average response time, right? And then if it is more than say 600 milliseconds, then it is a warning for us. If it is below that, then we are good. So this will give you a slingshot. It will give you a single view, and then this meter kind of view, which would give you a lot of details. So let's say I take last 24 hours, and then let's try to see. So this has the average response has been more than 698 millisecond, which is a really amber warning for us. Not a critical till now, but it's a amber warning. So next is table view, which is more of a table view of how much time it has taken for each endpoint. So these are multiple views. Let's just quickly look into one of the configuration tab, which probably will be interesting for people here. So it provides us with two different options. One is the switch. So one is the basic mode, where you can select your control plane, and then you can select what metrics you want to capture. It provides you with a lot of metrics that you can capture. Count by endpoint, by flow, by endpoint, and whatnot, and average request response, failure by request, successful failure by success, average request response by endpoints. A lot of metrics is captured. Then you capture what environment, what particular environment you want to build this dashboard for. What is the API resource that you are capturing, right? So this is the basic view. And then if you go to advanced view, it will give you a lot of feature of how you want to capture the advanced, few of the advanced matrices, and then you have option to write queries to select a particular endpoint, a combination of endpoint, and select what metrics you want to select: average request response, average time, or maximum time, mean time, or whatnot. And then it provides you with a lot of customization option of how you want to view the data. What should be in your x-axis of your graph, y-axis of your graph, and then what should you use? Should it be linear? Should it be log based and based on your viewing requirement? You can play around this and learn. I didn't find a lot of documentation on this on build docs. A lot of these would probably you guys have to play around and figure out how would it work. But these are very good feature when you want to aggregate and see a view. And then also it provides you with alerting feature where you can add alerts. This is again available as part of your Titanium subscription, I believe. From here you can also write alerts and send alerts to yourself if say your average time is going beyond your SLA, right? So these are a few things that would keep in mind on. And I think that would be it from here. Dashboards, custom dashboards. Any questions on this, guys? Amit?
No question yet, but I'll wait for a few minutes. So, Samajit, for the just to keep just for the interest of time, right? Maybe we can jump into functional monitoring, because that has some lot of question and interesting topic also, right? Maybe alerts,
okay.
And if time permits, we can go through log and alerts. But maybe
perfect. So let me let me just finish the custom matrices, and then I think we'll be done with graphs, and then we can jump into functional monitoring and then come back here.
Sure, yeah. So I'm just waiting for any Q&A for any Q&A.
So you can stop me if there's any questions that is coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So next feature is a very good feature that is available, again part of Titanium. this feature enables us to push any custom events from our app into monitoring, and then visualize the data. Like until now, what we discussed, these were the matrices that is captured as part of MuleSoft. We were not able to push any additional say business. You want to capture a business KPI, right? Like for example, let's say I'll give you a use case that we have used this custom metrics feature, which would probably you guys can relate. So we have a API that we have built, which we use to receive documents from a SMS channel, from a chat channel, and then we used to load those information into our using Mule as an API. We used to get those document, load that into our infrastructure, and then we try to manage a status of that document. Like we have received the document, we have successfully uploaded a document, there was a failure, it's in transit, what are the status, right? So what we did was okay, let me try to maximize it. So what we did was, we were able to from Mule application, we have something called custom matrix connector. We configured the connector within our application, and we have captured what data we want to visualize. So like for example, status of the document and what is the count of that matrix. So we were able to capture the status. Say for example, we're saying status is new here, and it's one count of that fact is one count. So similarly, so from a place where say document upload is successful, we would write another connector, and we will basically say status as complete, right? So similarly, we have captured the statuses from code, and we from the application, we are pushing those custom KPIs into dashboard, and then there's a feature called custom metrics. We can query data from that custom matrix. We can then get the count, get the fact, which is count, and then get the matrix name, and then visualize the data. So if you see here, I hope it is visible, but what it is showing you is for a particular time window, how many requests have come, how many of them are complete, how many of them have error out, and how many are cancelled, right? So this is basically a feature where it gives us the ability to push any data from our code and then visualize that. It's more of it could be used for, let's say, a very generic example would be, let's say you have an order tracking system, and then you want to capture how many how many orders you have made in a particular day, or in a particular hour. So you would probably capture the order number and then the amount of the order, right, as fact, and then push those information into your using your custom metrics connector, and then you would visualize that. You could use queries to visualize the data on screen. So this is a very powerful feature if you want to use to enable your business or IT to support to figure out how you are doing. So a typical use case typical flow would be to do this is, first you have to identify what KPIs you want to capture, then you use connector, configure it, and push metrics on the runtime, capture that using write the queries, capture it and visualize, and then select the visualization, right? So that's basically about custom metrics. So I think that's about graphs and matrices. Amit, on this, or we can probably jump.
Yeah, so on the previous topic of the custom dashboard, we have one question from Sesu Babu. So he's asking like, do I need, when I'm creating the custom dashboard, do I need to select each and every API, or it will come in the drop down?
So let's see. So
When you're creating a custom dashboard,
yeah,
and he
it
wants
would. So
to
let's.
provide the API. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to provide. So let's see. Into the very basic feature, right? And basic
Yeah.
dashboards. You select your environment here. I have only one API in this environment, so it is giving me one option. But it will give you all. It should give you all the options.
Okay. So basically, it will track down from the exchange, right?
Correct. It will track down from the runtime, I believe. I don't know how internally
From
it
the
tracks, but for this environment, it will track down and show you all the resources where monitoring is enabled. So if you have an API where monitoring is not enabled,
Okay.
then that's not going to show here. That's something that to keep in mind.
Okay. So they know. I mean, so to answer to you, right? So you no need to mention it manually. It will automatically track down all the
It
deployed
should
APIs
automatically
in.
come. Yeah, and then let's say we have seen in say in your environment you have a lot of APIs, and it probably could take time if you have a lot of APIs. You can start typing your endpoint name, and it will auto suggest it should start coming
Okay.
in here.
Thanks so much. So that was one of the question. I think Ashish, you would like to. Hey, Ashish.
Samajit are a little late, but we have seen visualizer also, right? So we have visualizer, and we saw one premium feature called application network. Right. So what extra they are getting in application network?
So what I would put in is this application network is similar feature to visualizer. In visualizer, you have to go and configure your view, and you have to add your dashboard, which will give you a lot of more features. In here, out of the box, it tracks your application and gives you this feature. You don't have to write any view or anything, you can just simply see. But if you are actively using visualizer, then I would probably suggest just use that, and that will give you a lot of more features compared to this. And this probably would be a subset of visualizer.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like we have visualizer and
Correct.
this option, what extra they are getting? Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a subset. The only thing is, say, let's say you are not tracking a visualizer, you have not enabled visualizer for each and every project, right? So if you want to quickly see what's the application, this API network looks like, you can probably go over here and take a look. I would probably put it that way.
Okay. Thanks so much. So Samajit, I mean, again, I'm just keeping a tab on the time because we have covered in detail, right? So we're running out of the time. So maybe we can cover the functional monitoring, and then we can jump into trivia.
Yeah, sure. I think I will be quick.
If that works.
Yeah, perfect. I think that will work. So functional monitoring, again, I think we do not have the subscription to show you demo. It is only part of Titanium feature, I believe. Titanium and Platinum or Titanium, you can probably take a look in the documents. But what it gives us is with a view, with a tool to do a health check on your API. So what it basically would do is you can configure your monitoring, your functional monitoring. You can provide your endpoints that you want to monitor. You can assert your headers, what headers or any request that this API health check API needs, and then you can schedule the time, how frequently you want to schedule, and then you can do an integration with say, let's say you want to send an email alert, or you want to send there are a lot of standards available like Slack, PagerDuty, New Relic, Sumo Logic, so all of these features products are also available to integrate with. In our enterprise, we have a tool called SolarWinds and all we use, which is used for holistic monitoring for all the APIs, not only any point. So we do not use a lot of this feature, but this is very handy. So let's say you do not have any outside any third-party application which is like centralized application in your network, and you want to do a monitoring of your APIs, you could probably use this functional monitoring feature. This you can use this to monitor any public endpoint, not only MuleSoft hosted or MuleSoft runtime endpoints. You can monitor any outside endpoints as well using this. Configuring this is pretty easy. It provides you with two different options: base configuration and advanced mode, where you can go through multiple endpoints. and then see how's happening, like OAuth and all. And this particular example is a API that is enabled by JWT token policy. So we are passing authorization with a long running token, and then the client ID, client secret, and then we are able to monitor this API. What the summary gives you is last 5 execution, everything is passed, or everything is successful. What is the time duration average? What is the location? And then when it was done last time. It gives you a lot of other features, like you can download this functional monitoring endpoint and then upload it, modify and upload it for a different environment. You can choose to do that. You can see play button you could use to execute this right now and see how it is performing. And then you have a detailed view page where you can see the history of how the pings happened. And then detail of the history, it will show you the complete execution, where it will show you what is the endpoint, what is the request you have passed, what is the response you have got, it is 200 status okay or not. So this is part of functional monitoring, which is very helpful. What I would tell you from my personal experience, where are we with this, and what we are exploring is we are trying to see if, when we configure this functional monitoring, right? We have this authorization, client ID, client secret, everything is available here in the prompt. And then we have this, if you go into details tab, it will show you all the execution history. So we are at this point, we're trying to figure out how can we create a functional monitoring which should not have access. Every developer or everyone who has access to functional monitoring should not be able to see all of this. Only admin should be able to see all of these credentials, right? So that is something that we are still exploring on our end. I don't know, I don't have an answer to that, but I think that's a very critical feature that you would like to have before considering even going into functional monitoring. So that probably I would like to put it that way.
So maybe Vikram here, I have one thing. So when you say authorization, we give the refresh, token, right? That is the OAuth token or the refresh token. The token.
Yeah, the JWT token, yes.
Yeah. So in case if we where the refresh token, token gets refreshed every 10 minutes or so. So how do you need to every time go and give the refresh token, right? Or is it a way that you can automate it to refresh, get the token?
So yeah, good question. So I'll tell you what the way we have gone through it. So we are using JWT token based policy for a lot of our APIs, and there, to avoid this kind of scenario of token getting expired, we have outside of this functional monitoring, we have created a long running token, let's say of 6 months or something. And we have put that token here, so that way we don't have to regenerate token every time and avoid making multiple calls to generate token. But
and
I believe
that token is just for this functional monitoring that you have created a token, or is it for all the applications, or any app calling this API?
So what we have done is we have created so again, JWT is created specifically for functional monitoring, and then we just paste it here, and we would not share that token with any of the other users. The other users, other API users would have their so this is JWT based policy, right? So other user will have the private key. They will use private key to create their own token, which probably would be a soft flip token, and then we will use that token for monitoring. So that's something that we have tried, but again, what I'm trying to say is, this is something that is in early stage of exploration on our side as well. So most not probably that all use case would work is what we are trying to see. But I think the answer to your question, if you want to do call an API, say you're implementing OAuth, and you have to call an authorization API, and then they get a token and then call the resource API, right? So that also I believe is possible, but not something that I have explored until now.
Okay.
And
We can take a look and follow up on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. We are using Okta, so I mean, I'd like to know that. Maybe I'll get in touch with you after.
So Mojit, quick question. This is a scheduled job, right? The functional
Correct.
monitoring.
Yeah.
So is it affecting the SLA of your API? Because health check is definitely calling your API, right? I mean,
That's
as per my
correct.
knowledge,
Go ahead.
as per my knowledge, it won't affect. But I wanted to just clarify here.
Yeah, so what it does is, I don't have the screenshot here, but it will give you a minimum option that you can go with is 15 minutes. So you can schedule your health check every 15 minutes. At minimum, you cannot go minimum to that. So if say your API is, you are making one call every 15 minutes, I don't think that would impact your performance, right? And then you would make sure that you would call a health check resource which will be a light resource, right? Which will not be doing a lot of logic or running complex query within that API, correct? So if you have to design it in the right way, you have to call the ping endpoint, or you have to create a health check or ping endpoint, and you have to make sure that you're calling those endpoint, which doesn't consume a lot of resources.
Okay.
And Somajit, one question from Hiralal, that the client secret that you are passing right on the screen, I think you have masked it for this demo. If that can be encrypted in some way, or that's not possible?
So
do we have any
while
option?
exploring here, in the tab, I was not able to find that feature where you can mask it. But what we are trying to explore is, we are trying to see the way we are trying to see is, if a admin create a functional monitoring tab, would it be available to all other users? If it is not available, then probably admin will only have access, then we are fine to go with it, right?
Yeah.
If it is, if I'm an admin, I create a functional monitoring, and then that is available to every user, then probably you cannot go with that approach. So the other way of going about it would be, you can probably think of using different business, have a business unit which you could use for functional monitoring, things like that. But I think that would, again, I would say that is in a exploring territory for me as well. So we are also trying to figure out answer to these questions. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks, Amit. So yeah, we'll explore more. I think this is a very interesting feature out above. So thank you so much. And we have and this, the URL that you are doing the health check, that is at the resource level, right? You have option for get, put, like you can do it any method or resource.
Yes. So if you see here, right, you have methods. So you can. There are like 4 or 5. I don't remember now. 4 or 5 standard HTTP methods that they can provide. They provide you with expected response. 200 is okay, or 400 is okay, or whatever, right? You can select all of that.
So hope Madhusudan that clarifies that your queue. So we'll wait for 2 more minutes on the Q&A for that.
Okay. So
And I think we'll try to set up maybe one more session, because we have a lot of thing to cover the analytics also, right? We will not be able to cover, right? Maybe in that session we can cover
continue. Okay.
Yeah, we can cover
So
maybe the
should I
reports,
stop here,
alerts.
and then we can continue with another session, or do you want me to complete?
Maybe we can set up one more meetup. We can cover the detailed on reports, alerts, and also the analytics, right? Because that itself is a detailed topic. Analytics itself is a very detailed topic. We can give us
perfect. Okay. So yeah, and I think we can take the follow-up questions and this question as a follow-up, and try to figure out more on this functional monitorings and stuff probably next time. Okay. So Amit, do you want to take it over from here?
Maybe you just have the PPT on for the trivia slide, and then I'll keep an eye on the chat.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for 2 more minutes. If any more Q&A, you can move it to the trivia tab.
Let me move to trivia.
So hey everybody, so before we move to the trivia, right, any Q&A on custom monitoring, custom dashboard, the functional monitoring, custom dashboard, or built-in dashboards? I know it's a very detailed topic, but okay.
Just to add one more point, like apart from the licensing, to enable endpoint monitoring, we need For the on-prem application, you need the specific operating system as well, right? I just want
Yes,
to make sure.
that's a good point. I think there's specific operating system and specific data supported. I believe 387 and above is supported for monitoring.
Yes.
And I think on-prem 385 or something. That all these are documented in
Yeah.
MuleSoft docs. You could probably take a look there, for details. But there are specific runtimes, not all runtimes.
Yes, I have
Yeah, I
pinged
think
the link.
Ikram shared
If
the
there's
link.
any-
Yeah. So, okay. So, Abdul wants to know how he will verify what is the subscription level he is in. Is there any way we can see which subscription he's?
So I do not know if there is a way you can know that, but I would typically talk to my platform owner and they would know what subscription level we are in, right?
Yeah,
So
maybe the administrators.
or administrators would know. I don't know if there is a place where we can go and see what's the subscription level.
Admin can see it.
Yeah, is it there? I have not explored that. So we can probably.
You have something as subscription, so you can see there in access management subscription.
Yeah, so maybe here. So it gives you subscription level. It's trial developer trial. This is a trial environment. Maybe it will
Yeah,
tell you.
that's where it
But again,
says.
you need to. Yeah, again, you need to
That's
have
what
access.
it
Most probably
was, yeah.
developers will not have access
Yeah,
to access
yeah,
management.
that's right. And one more thing, when we deploy when we enable endpoint monitoring for the cloud application side, and when we have a redeployment, so I think every time you need to enable it, or you need to give it in the deployment job a flag which will say enable monitoring.
Correct. So I think that you can probably automate in your CI/CD by
That's right.
providing. I think there's a.
Yeah, and then there's a flag, something like any point monitoring, enable something.
There's.
Yeah.
I think this one. Any point platform configuration agent enabled. You can set it up in your CI/CD, and then every time it deploys, it might be true.
Yeah.
That's how we manage this on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Ikram, for sharing the link. So I think we can get started with the trivia.
Oh, someone is excited about
So,
trivia.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think people are excited. Yeah, that's a very interesting part of the Mule meetup, right? So how we'll do, right? Since we have 26 attendees, so we'll pop up. The question will come up on the screen. Somajit is sharing his screen. He's already tired, Somajit. Thanks so much for your detailed time, right? Detailed session that and time. So we'll pop up the question and it will come on the screen. And the answer that it will be having the options ABC. Just you can post the answer on the chat side, and myself and Ikram, right, will keep an eye on that and let know who is the winner. We'll go one by one. So can we get started with the next question?
So okay. So Amit, whoever would be the first one to answer would be the winner.
First correct answer. Yeah, first correct answer will be the quiz winner. I'm just waiting for everybody's confirmation if we can get started. If everybody is ready and they can see the question on the screen. Okay, yeah. So
Should I go to next slide?
Yeah, so we can get started. Yeah, Somajit, you can go to the question.
Question 1. Custom matrix is available in which subscription model? Gold, Titanium, Platinum.
Okay, so we got the answer. So Abhishek, Alex, okay. So I think most of them have given correct answers. So Titanium is the correct answer, right, Somajit?
Yes, yes.
So I think we have received a lot of correct answers. Let me see who was the first one.
It's Abhishek Nikam, I guess. And Abhishek Nikam and Alex both are the same. I'm not sure how you name.
Oh, it is Abhishek Nikam, right, Ikram?
Yes, Abhishek.
Abhishek, if you can post your email ID or LinkedIn URL, right, that will be great. Email ID and LinkedIn URL. I'm just making a note. Give me a minute. So Majid, so we are ready with the second question. You can move ahead.
Okay. Question number 2. With Titanium subscription, customer can now get up to how much GB of flexible hyper shared data storage per production code?
Okay, so what is the correct answer?
Correct answer is C, 200 GB.
Okay, so we have received a lot of correct.
Alex, and then
So Alexander was the first one who with the correct answer. I think most of the people has given correct answer. So Alex, if you can share your email ID. Oh, yes, Ajay, so the last question, the third one, we can move.
Okay. The last question, number 3. Anyone functional monitoring can be used to monitor non-Mule application, say built in Oracle, Fusion, or some other middleware, or anywhere. True or false?
So we received a lot of correct answer, but you can tell the
True is the correct answer. It gives us the option to monitor.
So what Somjit is saying, we can monitor even non-new APIs also.
Yes.
We just need to consider it. Who are the correct? So true is the answer.
it's Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna Vajrala. Can you ping me the email ID? The email IDs of all the winners. Just to confirm we have the right email ID. So I can just confirm.
Congratulations, Abhishek, Alex, and Ramakrishna.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Ashish, for your input as well. Thank you so much. And thanks for all the participants who joined the meetup today. I would like to know your feedbacks as well. So please share your feedbacks so that we can improve and we can plan future sessions. And Amit, you want to share something?
Yeah, thank you, Vikram. So hey, Somaji, thanks a lot for giving 1 hour from your busy schedule. And to the audience, right, if anybody is interested for anything they want to participate as a speaker, please contact us. And this is our homepage for Indianapolis chapter, right? The meetup.mulesoft.com Indianapolis. If you are interested and want to present something, please contact us. in our upcoming meetup, we'll organize sessions. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.